Love sports? Love culture? Well, I've got a brand new podcast called Take Line from Crooked Media, hosted by me, Jason Concepcion, and two-time WNBA champion Renee Montgomery. From the games to the players to the issues happening both on and off the court, we'll be tackling the important political and social issues happening in sports head on. New episodes drop every Tuesday, so follow and subscribe on radio.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your driver's license is important so you can get back and forth to work, get your kids to school, and back and forth to daycare. If your license has been suspended because you can't pay your tickets, you can't do any of those things. Let's talk about Chapter 13 bankruptcy. You may have heard that tickets cannot be discharged, but they can be dealt with in a Chapter 13 case. Why not come in for a free consultation? The chapter you choose will make all the difference to your getting back, legally, on the road. Let's design a plan to pay off your tickets and restore your license immediately. I'm attorney Travis Gagne. Please contact me today at ChooseTheRightChapter.com. That's ChooseTheRightChapter.com.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle. Tinder just released its updated list of the most right-swiped jobs of 2018. And I'm very sad to report this, Steve. Radio host, we're not in the top 10 anymore.
Yeah.
2 years ago, we were number 5.
And who joined on to the world of our radio show about 2 years ago?
Yeah,
it's Danny's fault.
Yeah.
We were sexy, and then Danny showed up.
Thanks, Danny.
True. Yeah, the damn eyeliner.
You know, it's because I bring the tears, and
that nobody wants it.
Yeah, women don't find guys crying sexy.
Thanks, Danny.
You're welcome.
So you know what now is the new sexy job for guys? Because I'm very surprised at
Honey
this.
Bucket Cleaners.
Honey Bucket Cleaners, the winner. Yes.
Wow.
That's it. Very sexy.
Hot.
Always getting swiped right.
This is so funny. So they are able to figure it out because of Tinder.
Yeah.
I'm totally thinking of what my female friends have swiped to. It's got to be like firefighter or engineer.
You'd be surprised, Vicky. It's something that I think that actually you will probably find very sexy these days because of what you're into. And it has nothing to do with sex. It has to do with another thing in your life that you're working towards.
Oh, real estate agent.
Very close, Steve. You're on the right track.
Mortgage broker.
Close.
Banker.
No, it's something.
Stager. House stager.
Oh, you are super hot.
Interior decorator?
That's it, Steve. That's the number one right swipe job on Tinder.
For both men and female?
Not for female. This is just for who women are swiping right on for men.
Because I would imagine on the other side, because, you know, I've known some people that do, like, interior design and that stuff that are females, and they're usually smoke shows.
No, the number one thing for men, like what men swipe on, so for women, they swipe right mostly on jobs that are interior decorator jobs. So that's the sexiest job as far as women are concerned. The sexiest job for a man is a no-brainer.
Home Depot cashier.
Home Depot cashier is not it. I
ain't joking, man. There's lots of hot chicks that work at Lowe's and Home Depot.
I am not saying no to that, but I'm saying that men are more stereotypical. So think of what your fantasy would be if you're a dude.
Stripper.
Close. That's your fantasy, but usually,
a librarian.
If you watch close, Vicky,
a
nurse. If you, all right. I heard a lot of words.
Teacher and nurse.
All right. Yes, nurse number one, ladies and gentlemen. Then dentist is number 2 for as far as basically that's what men want.
Oral hygienist.
Yeah, that's it. That is the.
She makes good money and she keeps her mouth clean.
Yeah, photographer is some. If you're a woman and you're a photographer, men like that. So men are swiping right on female photographers, female college students. So if you say you're a college student,
that's
men
not
dig
a
that.
job.
I know. I don't know why that's that they're calling that a profession.
I think because a lot of college students are on Tinder, so I'm guessing that gets swiped a lot.
Pharmacist also, if you're a chick who likes to give out the medicine, guys like that.
Drugs.
You know, to go back to the dentist one, I mean, this is like the double whammy for me. She's a dentist by trade, but she's also a wrestler, and she wrestled at that All-In pay-per-view that just happened.
Oh, she's getting swiped by you all the time.
She's Britt Baker, and she's an actual full-on dentist, Dr. Brittany Baker.
Yeah.
But also she's a wrestler.
Okay, Britt.
That's awesome.
Britt's awesome. Teacher, by the way, is on this list, too, in the top 10, so that's another male fantasy.
Of course.
Flight attendant, I agree with that. That would be my number 1.
Yeah, well, you fly a lot,
and I like.
See, I don't really witness. I mean, every once in a while you get a very attractive flight attendant, but more often than not, I'd say that's maybe 10% of the time.
Well, Alaska just acquired Virgin Airlines, and Virgin Airlines was always known for having, like, I would say, above average in the looks department flight attendants. And also, they seem to go younger, whereas other companies, they'll let you be any age and any gender to be a flight attendant. It seems like Virgin was, like, still old school. And I don't know if Alaska is keeping that or not, but I had a San Francisco-based crew recently, and they looked very different than any of the other Alaska crews I'd been on. They looked more like a Virgin crew.
I can't imagine being a young flight attendant and not having a Tinder if you're going to multiple cities all over the world.
Yeah. Oh, dude, your life is...
Sample all the types of dudes.
Yeah, seriously, dude. That is the life of a great flight attendant. I
wonder how many flight attendants are also whores.
You mean like
escorts?
Oh, like professional?
Yes.
Because I would be a whore and not charge anybody.
No, I know that. But I wonder, that's a easy way to be able to make a lot of cash because you're just kind of popping into different places. You don't have to worry about being recognized, maybe.
Yeah. Steve, by the way,
you can also work out the deal on the plane. Like, hey, I see you checking me out. For 3 easy installments of $250.
See, first class?
I don't know if that's how they work it, but
I probably not, Steve.
Lump sum.
I assume that's what's going on. If you're a flight attendant working first class, you're having a great life because you know those people, they have enough money to be in first class. Mm-hmm. And I bet a lot of action happens up there if you're a flight attendant that wants it to.
I'm in the wrong line of work.
Yeah, you are.
One texter says, my dentist, no joke, looks like a younger version of Angelina Jolie. What? I can't wait for my next appointment. Creepy? I hope not.
Who's your dentist?
Send me
a link. I'm looking for a new one.
It makes it easier. I think it's the smartest thing in the world to get attractive people, or at least people that are very friendly to be at the dentist, because it's the scariest place for a lot of folks.
A lot of people cringe going to the dentist.
Yeah, so it helps calm it down. Steve, this next one, though, on this list for women, you're not going to like this.
Okay.
You hate this job. You hate when somebody says this for a job, and yet women still find it attractive.
Entrepreneur.
Still, women find it sexy. They swipe on it a lot.
It means you're unemployed.
Totally. Yeah, not for women, apparently. Personal trainers on the list, that makes sense.
For both sides, I'd imagine.
I'm trying to see if it's on there for men, and I don't see it. No, men don't care about personal trainers in the top 10.
There is a lot of personal trainers on Tinder. Like every other dude, it's just like, I'm a personal trainer. Like, well, I don't know if they really are, if they just like to work out.
Is that the new unemployed?
Yeah.
Right.
Also, waitress.
Yeah,
and bartender, of course, bartender. So you've got pharmacist, waitress, and bartender. Drugs, alcohol, and food. Yeah, I'm all for that. And then you need a nurse to take care of things. Yeah. Now, if you're a dude, pilot also works.
Not surprised.
That's number 2 on the list for women. For women, swipe on pilots a lot.
I mean, can we just? It's a stereotype, but it's true, or a generic statement. But guys in uniform, I think it's just always going to be something that is viewed as attractive to a woman.
It's not so much that, I think. It's the whole wanderlust, like he can get me free flights.
Wow. You're such a user.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying that's what girls are probably thinking. They're like, okay, well, I can go travel the world if I start dating this guy.
I miss the world of users, because then you had it. You had an agreement.
Yeah.
I use you for this, you use me for that, and usually that was a good deal. And then we've stopped that. Whatever happened to using people? You know, it's a lost art.
Plus, they're keeping tabs on their prostate, which is a good thing.
Oh, that's always a great thing. By the way, speaking of that,
I've learned that every 6 months I have to get a prostate exam.
From your pilot? I had no idea that.
Yeah, they give it to you.
I had no idea. That's fantastic. You're on the plane and they'll give you a prostate exam.
I have a couple of pilot friends apparently that they were telling me because they sit so much, they have to make sure that they have to get that, because that's a potential effect from sitting as much as they do.
I still don't know why they're still giving you a prostate exam, but hey,
I haven't figured that out either, but who am I to ask questions?
Fly the friendly skies, my friend.
All I know is I'm prostate free.
Here, since we're talking about doctors, here's the funny thing. Doctor is not on the list for getting swiped right a lot by women, but physician's assistant is.
Younger guy.
Well, I was thinking doctors are always at work.
Yep.
They're always busy, but at least, an assistant, he might have a couple more days off.
And doctors also, for the most part, are, I feel like, very close to being on the spectrum. They have no bedside manner. If they're really good at their job, every doctor I've met that's really good at their job is basically Rain Man. And therefore, if you're looking for somebody charming, you're not going to get it from the really good doctor. And then the really bad doctors, they are more charming, but they screw up your surgery and you hate them. So the physician's assistant seems like the one. Are you basing
this off of television shows that you watch?
I would say that sounds like House.
No, I'm basing it off of real life experience with a particular daughter of mine where, And that's what, don't judge your doctor by how friendly he is. You got to get a doctor that hardly can speak the language.
I don't know. I had an OBGYN who was very, very nice and very thorough.
Whoa.
But she went on to do something else. I'm really bummed.
I don't even know what to say when you say an OBGYN, because we know what they do, and to be very thorough, it's like, what did she send in an excavation team? What do they do?
I mean, she was very nice and helped me out. It was great.
Okay, that's a cool thing.
What did she move on to do for a living?
I think she also had some medical issues, so she had to go and do more of desk stuff.
I was going to say something really, really bad.
Spelunking.
I was going to say that.
I knew you were.
Wow. Dude, that's insane. What? That's exactly what I was thinking. What's wrong with both of us?
Once you go diving, you're fine diving anywhere?
No. Spelunking is you go into caves.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So
they dove into things.
No, it's deep cave exploration, Steve.
Yeah, that's spelunking is. So you figure that they,
I love we had to explain it.
Dude, how about you and I thought that, and I said no because I thought that would be insulting. And you said it. You're like my son. That's what for both of us.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
Buy him a present.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Buy me one, please.
Okay. So there you go. That's those are the top right swiped. If you're a guy, you like women that are nurses, dentists, and photographers. And if you're a chick, you like men who are interior designers, pilots, and physician's assistants. Those are the top 3. Radio was in the top 5 until Danny joined our show, and now we're not in the top swipers.
Welcome.
Damn, that sucks. All right. Hey, everybody. Got a new story out of Ohio State University, and this will harken back to a great interview we did. And I always forget the guy's name from Jane's Addiction.
Dave Navarro.
Thank you. And so we had a great interview with Dave Navarro about how sweets can be as addictive as heroin. And now Ohio State University is saying chocolate chip cookies are just about as addictive as cocaine. And I believe it, dude.
Yep.
Not for me. Cookies are good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a cookie hater.
Oh, you are insane.
But I could walk by a whole plate of cookies and not have a single one.
Oof. Chocolate chip?
Yeah.
Wow.
Chocolate chip, honestly, doesn't even make my top 5 of cookies.
But what's your top number 1 cookie?
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter chunks or just a peanut butter cookie?
Both.
Okay.
That's 1 and 2. And they changed it. Then Snickerdoodle.
Okay.
Then peanut butter again.
And you could walk by all that?
Oh, yeah. No problem. Sometimes they'll offer me a free cookie, and I'm just like, I'm good.
Oh.
What if it's a donut?
Donuts, dude, what will get me? So for me, what is as addictive as cocaine is Annie Ann's pretzels.
And that's salt. That's really fascinating because sugar is what they're talking about, is the addictive quality. Now, flour and salt can also be very addicting as well, so I can understand.
Yeah, I was even talking about that with Matt Coker, our overnight sensation, who does, fitness and stuff, and we were just talking about, how to stay, disciplined and things. I'm like, the one thing I cannot stay disciplined. I even told myself yesterday, I went to Target to pick up some stuff, and I told myself, don't stop at the Annie Ann's. But somehow I parked in between where the Target and the Annie Ann's are, so I had to walk by the Annie Ann's.
And then you smelt it.
And I'm like, well, if the line's long, I won't go there. And the line was long. I'm like, it's not. I'm sure it goes fast. Next thing you know, I'm getting that little cup of pretzel nuggets. And I was like, this is an addiction, man.
Wow.
Pretzels.
And you know what else is getting you in this? So the sugar. And, of course, what might be getting you is the fat, because there's a lot of fat in chocolate chip cookies. I bet there's a lot of fat in those pretzels.
No, I think they're healthy. It's like eating celery.
Yeah.
Right.
So I tell myself.
I didn't know we could get addicted to fat. I knew flour was addictive, and I knew the sugar was addictive. But fat now? Oh,
Dude,
God.
last week for my birthday, Sarah bought me a bag of the Chips Ahoy, the minis. Mm-hmm. I went to town on those. I couldn't stop. I had to put them in another room just to get me to stop. And those are my favorite kind. I love crunchy cookies.
But here's what they're saying, dude. They're saying chocolate chips have a small amount of a compound that triggers your brain in the same spot that weed does. So it actually makes you happy to have them the way that the weed can make you happy. God dang, dude. So what are we supposed to do? We want that tasty goodness because our brain, especially if you're in a bad problem,
eat the cookies and be happy.
I know.
I can't stand it. Gotta eat cookie now.
So it's the sugar, the fat, the basically the triggering your brain like weed, and finally they say the nostalgia that comes from the taste and especially the smell of cookies give you another temporary shot of good feelings.
I spent a lot of time figuring this out.
Well, dude, do you know that's why they bake chocolate chip cookies in every bloody real estate situation?
I know. I always hear that when you're trying to sell a house, make sure you have a fresh plate of cookies.
Man,
if the smell makes you feel comfort and makes you want to live there.
My car dealership does that. They have fresh chocolate chip and all kinds of cookies.
They know what's up. The coffee, they give you free coffee, they give you free cookies. Next thing you know, you're walking out with a car and you're like, how did this happen?
If they had one of those giant pretzel machines with the big soft pretzels, I'd buy whatever you're selling.
See, they got a cover for you because you're immune. Your kryptonite is the pretzel, not the cookie.
Gosh, yeah.
For me, I don't like the baked cookies. If it's in dough form, I will eat cookie dough all day long, but I don't really like baked cookies that much.
Wow, that's you're a communist.
They have a new cookie dough bar in the U District, and I'm so excited to go there.
Cookie dough bar?
Yeah.
What? So it's like cookie dough martinis or something stupid like that?
No, it's like an ice cream shop, but instead of ice cream, they do cookie dough, and it's like safe to.
So they don't have ice cream; they just have cookie dough.
Yeah.
Oh, let's do this.
So it's a whole joint based just on cookie dough.
Yeah, I want to go there so bad.
All right,
is it open?
I believe so. Yes, I saw a news article
right now.
Let's go! Come on, let's go right now.
Oh, we got better things to do right now.
Dude, we are so addicted.
Mrs. Froglegs Treat Mercantile. I can't say that word.
Mercantile.
That's the name of the cookie dough joint?
Yeah, it looks so cute.
Mrs. Froglegs? Okay, I think I'd pick a different name for a cookie dough joint.
So what's wrong with that?
Because I'm thinking of frog leg. You can eat frog legs. I mean, that's a thing you can eat.
So I go eat at Dick's Burgers. I got no problem with that.
All right, I'm not sure what that says about you or anything that we've been talking about, but you are, factually, you are correct, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right. Oh man, that is awesome. There's a place down in California that's a grocery store, but they have this cookie that they make that they give you samples of like crack. It's unbelievable. And I've never had it before. I don't even know the name of the company, but it's so good. They cook. They make them there like that's all they do. They continue just to put them out there. That's all they make there. It's just these cookies. Everything else they probably get from another bakery, but they do their cookies. And the lady's right there. She's like, here you go. And it's huge. It's like a mountain of cookie with walnut, but it is so friggin' good. And yeah, I mean, and now I know I'm an addict. That's what it is. All right. And we also know something about Steve, don't we? Yeah, we do.
I love pretzels and Dick's Burgers.
Yeah.
Dick's Burgers now serves them without condiments on them. That's exciting for some people. My buddy Damon, he's never had a Dick's Burger before. He's lived here forever, and he finally got to because he just doesn't like condiments on his stuff.
Oh, you mean you can get a naked burger?
Yeah, you can now get a cheeseburger and a regular hamburger. It's like a big deal because they rarely ever, if not ever, change their menu. But they've now added 2 new items: a regular non-condiment covered cheeseburger and non-condiment hamburger.
Here's a dumb question. I thought you could just tell them to leave everything off.
No, you can't tell them to do anything. They give it to you how they want to.
Oh, well,
you take it how you want that Dick's Burger.
Wow, that is big news because I've always had a Dick's Deluxe, so it didn't matter.
Right.
But, you can get it naked.
For some people, that's been a big complaint. Like, he's never eaten at Dick's because for the longest time, he couldn't get anything without any, because they already do it. Now they have that whole assembly line. They're not going to just make one your way. They're not Burger King, man.
Dude, I knew a guy whose girlfriend went in trying to get the condiments off of it, and he's like, no, we're leaving. Like, he was so embarrassed that they had to go to another Dick's Burgers.
He was embarrassed because somebody was taking the condiments off?
Well, no, because his girlfriend had asked to not get the condiments. It's like, you don't do that at Dick's.
Oh, well, now they do.
Woo!
All right, Steve, this is cool. As we know, we're getting into our first Blue Friday tomorrow. Seahawks first game of the season on Sunday, and that means we got to talk a little football. And you know what? What do you say we do with an NFL Hall of Famer and one of the greatest Seahawks to ever play the game? Yep, Big Walter Jones, joining us in studio at 8:17 on The Rock.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle.
BJ, it's always great having our next guest on. He truly is the best to ever do it. Please welcome to the show, Seahawks great Walter Jones.
Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Big Walt.
Excellent.
First thing Walt did was come in with some, gifts, and like you said, best to ever do it. He's got some nice swag, and Walt, he tossed me one, and I feel like, you know what, I'm stoked. That's the way you do. You bring gifts for me, and we give him a bottle of water. I gave him nothing. I feel
seems
bad.
Fair.
Yeah,
that seems fair.
That seems fair. Hey, congratulations. You're the new dude with Paul Sylvie talking about the Seahawks. I love this.
I know. I'm looking forward to it, man. I think it's going to be something great. Give me a chance to talk about football, I guess, and be part of a great team, and it should be fun.
Yeah, Paul, we've had Paul on the show a lot. He's really a good dude, and I feel like one of the most knowledgeable guys, yet at the same time doesn't come off like your average sports guy. And I feel like the two of you together, it's going to be a good team all season long.
I think so. like you said, he's pretty good at what he does. So, and he said he's going to be there to help me and teach me. So, I think that's going to be great, and taking over for another Hall of Famer. So, I got to definitely go out there and try to perform at my best.
I've seen Paul Sylvie, true story, bench press another human being. So, you're in good hands. He's a strong man.
I believe that.
Yeah. Well, if for some reason you have been living under a rock and don't know one of the greatest Seahawks ever played the game, number 71, Walter Jones. I mean, Ring of Honor, Hall of Famer, and we took some pictures. You'll get to see them because Walter is rocking his Hall of Fame ring. That thing right there could, you know what? You could power basically Seattle for a week just bouncing light off that ring. That is a sweet looking ring, Walter.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
And you earned it. I mean, there's no doubt about it. We watched you on Sundays. You earned that ring.
So you get the ring, and then I know in the Hall of Fame, at the Hall of Fame, there's a sculpture, a bust of your face.
Exactly. You get the bust, and then you get a gold jacket too. So you get all that stuff, and it's kind of like your symbol is showing. So when you see that stuff, a lot of times people don't get a chance to see the ring, or they don't get a chance to see the bust because they got it at the Hall of Fame, and then they send you a replica at home.
So you have a replica of your bust?
Yes.
Where do you have it?
I have it down in my office. I have what they do is they give you so much stuff after the Hall of Fame is over with. They give you the bus. They didn't redid the locker rooms there, but when we was there, they have the locker room. They got the old, like the high school lockers, and they have your jacket in there. So you get this big box, like a couple of days later, you're like, what the heck is this? And it's the locker, the full locker. So you get the guy's autograph on it. So I got it sitting in my office, sitting in the bus. And the cool thing about it freaks my dogs out every time they see it because they try to figure out, like, man, why does this look just like him, but it just won't move. So I enjoy walking through the house with it and scaring my dogs with it.
I'd say you could ring it up so it has like a treat dispenser. So when you're not around, they can paw at it, and then a treat comes out of your mouth.
That'd be awesome.
Well, you're lucky, man, because sometimes those busts don't look like the dude or even the woman they're trying to do. I forget what some female athlete was she had a bust somewhere and it looked nothing like her, and they had to do a redo. Yeah. So you're happy with yours?
I'm very happy. They have like two guys that the one guy get like three of the guys, and this guy did a great job of the pictures that they had. Like when I went to his house, all this stuff. Now they catch you in all types of angles. You thinking like you're being watched by the FBI because they got these shots from like you just randomly out and about, and they got all these pictures of you. So they trying to get every feature of you on that bus. So I think my guy did a great job.
I didn't know they did that, and they show you all these pictures, and you go, "Am I going to get busted on all these divorce shows, or is this a Hall of Fame?"
Exactly. Wow. So like it's like you have a big board of literally every shot of you. Like it's amazing. So,
wow.
Now, what about the jacket? I'd be the worst. That's why I'm never in the Hall of Fame, because I'd have the bust on my front porch. That way people get to see my face every time they come to the house. And if I was going to a barbecue, I would rock that jacket. I'm like, what's up, guys?
That jacket,
do you wear it anywhere?
I wear it, at certain events. I wear it. I wear it every year for the Hall of Fame. But that jacket is so thick and hot, though. So it's just like I guess they knew that you'll be wearing that jacket when it's hot, so it can absorb a lot of sweat. Before the only person I ever saw that sweated a jacket out was this year when Ray Lewis was doing his speech. That's the first time I ever seen it. And I'm a nervous person in front of people, and I sweat a lot. And that jacket held my sweat. So to see Ray sweat that jacket out and doing his speech was amazing.
Well, I think Ray's still doing his speech right now.
Yeah.
I know.
On for a while.
That's the other reason too. If you keep your speech the right amount of time, you won't sweat through that jacket.
And Ray changed the game. Ray had he had the Bluetooth thing, so he was walking around. So he definitely changed the game how we might see the Hall of Fame speech now. So
wow.
Time limits now.
Time limits, definitely time limits.
We're talking to Seahawk Hall of Famer Walter Jones, who, by the way, now when you're watching your post-game action after Sunday Night Football, the fifth quarter with Paul Sylvie, Walter Jones is going to be there giving his expert commentary.
And we got a text message. I know you guys have an agenda talking to Walter, but I wanted to thank him for starting 96 Check. It's awesome. It's helped me through a lot of tough times. And that's something also today is a very big day, 96 Check.
That's pretty awesome, man. It's something with Cortez Kennedy, one of my players and a best friend passed away last year, and and I wanted to do something. A lot of times people wanted you to talk about him, and I tell everybody that the one thing that Tez always did was check in on you. We'll call you in the middle of the night or anytime just to check in on you. So I took that and said, okay, this is what I want everybody to start doing, just checking on guys when, the guys that you played with for years before, just check on them. So we took his number 9-6 and September 6th, so it all worked out together, and this is our second year of doing it, so I just try to get everybody out there to just check on their family, friends, and ones that you haven't. We get so busy in our daily routines that we just don't check in on people. We're talking about stuff that we have to do, but we don't check on those people just to see if sometimes I called a guy last year, and, he told me, he said that helped him out. He didn't tell me what was going on, but that really put him in, in a better place that someone like me or anybody will call and check on them and see how they're doing.
Yeah, Walter, it's funny because, you and I have been on the planet long enough, and Steve as well, where, there was a time where it was just, people didn't even have to think about it. They always checked in. There was just a look after mentality where someone's got to look after somebody. And you're right, the busier we've gotten, we've forgotten that art of checking in on somebody.
Exactly, just checking in, just asking about their family. Most of the time, everything about the person you work with and stuff. So sometimes I just make it like when I meet some of the new players from the Seahawks, and they try to give me respect and stuff. And I don't try to talk to them about football. I just ask how they're doing, if they're married, if they got kids, just to let them know it's more to it than just playing football.
Yeah, I don't know, just some firsthand experience when something happens in your life and you get that text message or that Facebook message or whatever it is, and someone's like, "Hey man, you doing all right?" Yeah. And it could just be a quick little thing, but man, it does resonate. You're like, man, thanks for even checking. I didn't know I needed that until I got that message.
That's so true, man. Yeah. And like I say, I put mine to my mom. When that situation with Cortez happened, and you going through all these emotions because he's a player, so you're trying to think like, man, was he alone? And you just saying that people check on him, and a lot of my friends did that, and the one person that kind of got me out of my funk was my mom. And I talk to my mom all the time, but she's the one. She just called me one day. She said, "Hey, I'm just calling to check on you and see how you doing." Yeah, and that kind of put everything in perspective. That it might be that one person that can call you can change the funk that you're in, no matter what kind of funk it is.
That's a cool thing about moms and dads. I mean, if it's the right way, it doesn't matter how old you are. Yeah. They just know how to reach you right where you were when you were a little kid, I mean, that good warm feeling. And like you said, being checked in on, that's pretty cool. And I love the idea of hashtag 96check because that's what it's about. Today is September 6th. Today is about doing it. And if anybody wants more info, Walt, and they want to be able to start, get more info about checking in, what they got to do.
All they got to do is just what I asked, everybody know about the initiative going on today, 9-6. So I don't ask for just to get it out there. Just if you do it, just tag me and tag 96check, so we'll know that you checked on someone. If you checked on someone, you don't have to do that, but I just want to remind people in your busy day to check on someone that you haven't checked on in a while.
And God forbid if we actually have something nice, on the social media. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think hashtag 96 on Twitter. You throw it on Facebook, whatever. That would be nice to see.
Yes.
Hashtag 96check.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Hashtag 96check. Thank you, Steve.
I like this text. It's my buddy Craig, actually. He says, "You introduced me to Walter. He was the nicest guy. He even let me put on his ring. I'm a big man, and his ring fit over my wedding ring." Good times. I was at the Pearl Jam show because we were at, my buddy Craig and I went to the Pearl Jam show, and we're watching it. As we're walking out, we see Jose and we see Walt, and I'm just like, "Oh, there's Walt Jones. I'm going to go say hi." He's like, "Can we?" So as I'm walking over, Walter's like, "What's up, Steve? How's it going?" And my buddy's just like, "Well, what the hell is happening right now?" Because he's a huge Seahawks fan, and we're just on this high of Pearl Jam.
That's awesome.
That was incredible. We're both lifelong Pearl Jam fans, and then he's also a lifelong Seahawk fan as well. So it was just like this double whammy. Now we're just cutting it up with Walt about the Pearl Jam show. We haven't had a chance to talk on the air about it, but what was your thoughts on? I mean, you weren't a Pearl Jam fan forever. You just recently became a fan.
Forever. No, you know what? I know a couple of songs, but I got a chance to meet those guys last year at their annual flag football, and they great guys, down to earth guys. So we kind of like bonded as friends and trying to be a part of a lot of stuff that's going on in the community. So for me to get a chance to go to that concert, to see those guys, in their profession was pretty awesome, and I do that with everything. I do a lot of photography for the Sounders. I go to a lot of the Mariners games. So as a football player, you never get a chance to see those guys and see what they put into what they do. So for me to get a chance, you just sat down with these guys and hung out with these guys. They're very humble, but then once you see them on stage and the way that they can control the fans and the crowd is pretty amazing.
Mike's a great example of that. Mike McCready, the guitarist, because when you talk to him, I mean, he's no different than anybody.
You never know that he was Mike McCready.
There's no rock starness to him, right?
No, not at all.
But then you see him on stage and he's a rock god.
Yes, exactly. And that's, for me, like a lot of my friends and stuff, when I took pictures with them and everybody like, oh my God, Pearl Jam. I'm like, yeah, man, they pretty cool. And so like you say, just to get a chance to see those guys, because, like you said, I'm not a big fan of Pearl Jam, but becoming a big fan of Pearl Jam. And just to see those guys, the way that they performed here at the concert was like, man, it was mind-blowing.
When you're around greatness, I mean, seriously, when you're around greatness, boy, it hits you. Like you said, you're not a big fan of something, but then you go see how professionals, how great ones do it, great artists, and I can see how that can hit you. I've seen that in my life too, where you're going, damn, these guys are good. What have I been missing all this time? These guys are ridiculously good.
You can feel like they said, the awe, and they're like, wow, man, they are. It's amazing.
There's some incredible energy that night, just throughout that entire show. And then you, I think, went up going to the after show party. What was that like?
It was nice. Didn't get a chance to see them, you know what I'm saying? But it was a place, like the VIPs and stuff. So we got a chance to hang out there, but we didn't get a chance to meet those guys. I'm thinking like I figured they weren't gonna come because they exert so much energy in the concert.
Yeah, 3 hours.
Yes, you know what I'm saying? I think it was going on 4.
Actually, that was a 3.5 hour show.
The Friday show was a long show, so I figured that those guys, there's no way those guys are coming.
See, that's what I think. You make a very good point that I want to bring back to football, because you guys don't get that break. You got to talk to the media right after you put that kind of energy in. And I don't think people realize that all you want to do is just be left alone, not because you don't want to talk to anybody, but it's just after doing that massively high energetic output.
I think so. I think it's more of just calming down. Like a lot of times you don't get that opportunity to, especially like, you can think about just playing games. I can remember when we played in the Super Bowl, and soon that game was over, you was right in front of a mic. And I can understand if you didn't win that game. And, I think about the situation with Cam where, you just lost that game and they got them podium back to back like that. So you can hear those guys celebrate. So sometimes you just have to let these guys, you have to really let them reevaluate everything and calm down and realize, we just lost a game. Just kind of like,
I didn't realize during the interview you could hear the guys celebrate.
Yeah, I know that.
Because you always go talk to somebody. Yeah. I didn't know you could still hear the other people partying.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's
horrible.
Tough.
It's pretty tough, you know what I'm saying? Because when we lost the Super Bowl, it was more like, man, it's over. But then you can hear the cheers and stuff. But I guess that's, like now guys, when they lose those big games, they want to sit out there at the bench to see the celebration because they say, okay, we didn't get it, but I want to see it. So when it happened for us, we'll get a chance to see it. So a lot of those guys will stand on the field.
I wonder why a lot of the dudes would stay, because I've seen that a lot more in sports going, like, why wouldn't they want to get out of there? Who wants it?
Exactly.
But it's a sort of learning thing.
It's a learning. You might get back.
Motivator, I bet.
There's that motivation. Say, okay, the next time we're going to be on the other side of this.
Yeah.
So, I like that. Well, we are going to ask a football question for sure to Walter Jones, but you did say something, and I don't want to gloss over this, because you said, you're taking photographs for the Sounders. I know this is a legitimate profession that you are serious about, which I got to be thinking, because there's a few Sounders that grew up here in Seattle and in the area, so they would know you. There had to be some tripping out going, who is that dude with the camera taking pictures of me kicking a ball? That can't be. So this is legitimate. You want to be a professional? Is it any kind of or sports photographer? I mean that's what is that true, or you just?
It's totally true. I think it's a situation where everything kind of presented itself, and at my stage of my career, I'm able to do that. So and right now I'm just learning. I think I take my hat off. I tell the Sounders all the time, thank you for giving me the opportunity to do that. And you basically what you're doing now is you're making friends with people that's going to be friends for life. So I totally understand that. I appreciate that. But still, again, I'm still learning the craft. I'm almost like a rookie. So I'm still learning the craft, I'm used to picking up the camera and just taking pictures. And now I'm learning the camera and how you can take angles and how you edit the pictures and stuff like that. So I'm definitely putting the work in to learn, if it happened, it happened. If it don't, I learn something new. I think we as adults, we can always learn something that we never knew. So that's something. And if it happened, it happened. I just want to let people know anything I'm doing. I do a little radio, I do the TV stuff. I just want to let people know that I'm putting the work in to get better, and hopefully whatever happens. And I know that I feel good about it because I put the work in.
I don't know about you, but I know for me, like whenever I try something new, it's the fun part is also being humbled because I'm like, I'm awful at this. And now it's fun to start at ground zero and try and see how much better I can get with whatever limited skill set I have.
Exactly. I think the hardest part is just learning, just learn how to, like watching soccer, since I've been watching soccer, just learning how, when I first started watching it, when I first started taking pictures, the hardest part for me is just trying to see how the game is set up. If you know soccer, you have to see, you see a shot here, but then where are they trying to go to try to score? So as I've been taking and watching the game, I'm learning more. And then I'm getting a chance to know those guys, being out at practice and seeing those guys and respecting what they do. Like you said, it's a profession. I take my hat off to those guys.
So we got Walter Jones, Big Walt, number 71, of course, Ring of Honor Hall of Famer Seahawks. He's going to be on the fifth quarter Sunday nights now with Paul Sylvie. So after Sunday Night Football, you'll get to just, get a breakdown of all the football action, including the Hawks game of that day. Well, the big news we got, of course, is yesterday, Earl Thomas, he's coming back. The holdout is over. It doesn't look like he got what he wanted. It seems like from a respect angle, he's still not happy. And I don't want to really have you comment on him so much. I mean, it's great that he's back, but what I don't understand, and I think a lot of fans don't understand, is this whole idea of respect. And I wanted to get your perspective just as a former player, because, you sign a contract, you still have the contract. And so when somebody says, I'm going to hold out, even though it's like, well, you agreed to this deal, I don't know how there's disrespect involved in this. What are we missing? Because I don't play the game and you did. So I feel like I'm missing something, and I do want to understand, because I got a lot of love for Earl Thomas. So when a player says that, when a layman like me says, but that's your contract, I mean, that's what you do. How is there disrespect? What are we missing?
I don't know if I look at it just as, when a player gets to his last year's contract, most of the times, from my experience, is that with contract situations, is that a lot of that talk began a year before the media or anybody know what's going on. Because as a player, you want to know if you feel secure and that the team wants you to be. Do you want to extend this guy? Now, you don't want to. Every player don't want to go into their last. The goal is not to go into your last year. Most of the times when guys get signed, they get signed a year before, because a guy just don't want that risk of playing on that last contract. If you get on the last year of your contract, if you get hurt, now you can't do that. But now you want to feel like, okay, can I be ensured that you want me to be here my entire career? So I think it's a sign of, do you want me to be a part of what you're building? So I can understand the disrespect situation, because now he don't have the confidence that, okay, I'm gonna be here after this year.
And I think I can understand that. I mean, if that's how it goes, and like you said, that's a standard in the league. Yeah, who doesn't want to have some job security?
Yes, exactly.
Especially you guys, man. Where the average life in the football is 3 years. I mean, so exactly. You guys sacrifice so much, and you're not there a lot. That makes sense. And Earl's done great for the team, so I would love to see the guy get treated right. As a fan, that's what I would want. And it's interesting because Steve and I talked about some players value respect by being the highest paid, and I feel like in a sport like football or basketball, any place that's got a salary cap, it's tough to be the highest paid if you also want to be on a team that's going to be competitive enough to win. Because if you make too much money, then they can't go out and get other players. If it was baseball, yeah, you could be the highest paid, like the Yankees, Red Sox, and they still could bring in other great players.
Exactly.
So what do you say to players that want to tie respect to the highest paid? Because it's so tough with salary cap.
I think it is, but I think it's still, again, you have to take care of your own business. I think as a player, you have to believe in you. And if you feel like you should, you deserve this type of money, you try, as a player, a former player and a player, I would say get as much money as you can, because like you say, this game is a small part of your chapter of life, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Even if you play 3 years or you play 10 years, I've been out of the game for 10 years now, so I look at it, the league have blessed me, the Seahawks have blessed me, but still, again, there's so much to live for, but then again, you want to say, did I get everything I could get out of this game? So I understand that part, and I think as players, I look at it, it's not about me, it's all about, what the team, in the end, it's what the team want to do with a player. So if the team don't want to sign you to an extension. You understand that, but still, like you say, I think in the end, you're still on the contract, and you still got to come and play. And once his contract started, he's here, hopefully ready to play.
Stupid question for you. Do you watch the television show Ballers?
Yes, I do.
How true to life is some of the stuff that we're seeing on that show?
I don't know. I know my life is not that like that, but I think
because I love the show.
Seriously, now I look at it now. Not saying the type of money that these guys are making now, I would say, because when I was playing, that was definitely not the way. You get caught up in, what he's got, but that representation is maybe more now than it was when I was playing. So I would say it probably a little truth to the way guys are living their life now.
It's such a fun show.
I know, it's a great show.
It cracks me up every time.
It's a good show.
Must-watch stuff.
It's must-watch.
So obviously this season's a lot of changes for the Seahawks with new coaching, new players.
I don't know what to think. Usually you have an attitude going into a season like, this is going to be great. I don't know what to think about this season.
I know, as a fan, I'm excited because I don't know what to think. And it's like, there's just some new, fresh coaching ideas and new, fresh, and some of the stuff you see in the preseason. Russ taking some chances that we've never seen before. So, how are you feeling about the Seahawks this season?
I'm feeling pretty good. No matter what about the coaches change, I think it's more if you get too many player changes, and you got your core guys, you got Russell still, so you believe that Russ can go out there and win 2 or 3 games by himself. So you got to feel good about that, and you got to feel good about the offensive coordinator, the guy that's going to throw the ball down the field. We want to run the ball. I think the offensive line did a great job of making movements during the preseason. So I'm ready to see how that's going to turn out this year, because for the last couple of years, that's been the topic of discussion, is how awful or how bad the offensive line has been playing. So
it's got to be hard for you to watch that, right?
It's tough, but I understand. Those guys were so young. There wasn't a lot of veteran guys. I think as offensive unit, you have to have veteran guys there to kind of teach those young guys how to play the game of football, how to be a professional.
And I like Dwayne Brown probably huge.
Exactly. I think last year Dwayne was just trying to learn a new city, trying to just kind of. I don't think he can speak up when you just come into a team where this team is already, got their guys that can speak up. But I think this year he's going to take it upon himself to lead these guys. And you got the guys on defense. You still got the nucleus. You got Bobby there. He's a captain, so you know that he's going to get those guys riled up and ready to play.
And Earl Thomas, how long do you think it will take him to get ready where he's going to be where we need him to be? Because we have no idea how much practicing he's been doing. But, when guys have been in this situation, what do you think? That we see much of him Sunday?
I think so. I don't know. With him being a safety like that, is a lot of running. So it's just a matter of, if he go through practice these next couple of days and how he feel. Probably on Friday or Saturday, they might say he's going to play. But I would say if he's showing that he's in condition shape, I think he would definitely get snaps on Sunday, because, he's one of the top guys on that defense. So even him being halfway in shape is still probably better than the guys in there. So, and then, I think something like when I was going through the same situation, I knew when I was working out and getting ready, I knew that I had to be ready to play. No matter if I came in on Monday, if I came on Wednesday, I knew that, hey, you're going to play on Sunday. So I had to prepare myself. So I'm hoping that he prepared himself to be ready to play on Sunday.
That was always my favorite back in the day. That's what made me fall in love with you as a player. Just obviously a dominant force on the field, but it was like you stayed away from training camp and you pushed SUVs in your free time, and you're like, I'm ready to go. And nobody ever questioned it, because you showed up, and the stats speak for themselves. You have a Hall of Fame ring for a reason. And I always love that.
And I tell people all the time, the thing about that situation was that we never did change the coaches of what we wanted to do. No, we didn't change offensive coordinator. And I would tell my agent, I said, man, if they get rid of the offensive and they run a new offense, I'm going in, because I don't want to be lost with the new offense. So when I got in, I knew that I could, I know the plays that they were going to run and just run behind walls. So all I got to do is block my guy.
And plus, that was the Cheney Washington days, right?
Exactly.
I heard that sucked going there.
It was. But you know what? It was the best time, because you got a chance to hang out with the guys, to get to know the guys, to build that camaraderie for the season. And once that first year we moved back to Renton, it was the worst, because you had training camp, but soon as you had a day off, guys were doing their own thing. Oh, I got to go do something at the house. I got to do this. Yeah. So it was never that. When we was in Cheney, you had one spot to go to when you got that break. You was going to the movies, you was going out to eat, or you was going to the little local bar there. So that's all you had.
And that tiny bowling alley.
Exactly. That's all you had. So you was building that, hey, you was getting to know guys. guys. You was getting to know the new guys. But now, as soon as these guys get a free time, they're doing their own thing.
And it's hard. It's hard not to get the pull of the family or whatever because you're so close. Whereas,
exactly.
yeah, you. What do you mean you're not going to come home and mow the lawn? You're only 20 minutes away, and you're like, nah, but I have a job. I shouldn't. They never feel.
That's so true.
Well, I tell you this, Walter. I look forward to having more chats with you this season. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Of course, people always go crazy in the first 4 games, and I always say, look, the first 4 games are basically like extended training camp. Really, is what it is. You hope the team can be 500 at that point. Then you start seeing who they are after starting with game 5. I'm thinking
that's so true. I think it's more getting in shape too. You prepare, and the way that they practice now, they don't do a lot of contact. You go out to practice, and you don't even see any contact. So these guys are only getting their contact is in game. So now you have to go in and get in game shape. Playing a full game, you never get a chance to play a full game. So, like you say, about 4 games, you're gonna kind of see what type of team we're going to be.
And I hope London doesn't hurt us too much. I was a little disappointed. I mean, it's a great idea, but man, making a trip like to London, I hope doesn't hurt the team in a way where you go, hey, they're going to be tired.
Well, I think the thing about the way they worked in London thing is that you get that extra. It's almost like getting an extra bye week. So you play that game and you make it through that game being safe and nobody get hurt. You want to win the game, but once you play that game, you're getting that extra bye week. So it's almost like getting an extra bye week. So
it could be a bonus then.
It could be a bonus, you know what I'm saying? You go over there and play that game, and now you're off for 2 weeks before you play your next game. So that's pretty.
That ain't bad.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Walter Jones again. Walter's going to have a lot to say on the 5th quarter. He's hosting with Paul Sylvie after Sunday Night Football on NBC. That's going to be great. And Walt, hope to talk to you later on in the season. Don't forget #96check.
And Walt's on Twitter @BigWalt71. So you can let them know that you're checking up on your friends and family.
Yeah, nice. Thank you. Can I tell them to check out my brand too? B2EDI.com. My store is back up. I had to revamp it, but y'all got some of the newer stuff that I just come up with. So if you're interested to see the pictures, go to my website and buy some stuff.
That's B2EDI.com?
Yes, that's awesome. The best to ever do it.
Man. Thank you for the hat.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks for the shirt, too. Again, Big Walt, thank you for coming in, man. All right, yesterday, Steve, you know what? You're a champion. We got 2 champions in the studio, right? You're a champion of trivia because you somehow figured this one out.
What was the subtitle for 2015's Star Wars movie?
It is The Wrath of Khan.
No. Khan!
A New Hope?
No.
Nope. Force Awakens.
Yes.
I can't believe you got that. Yes.
I'm a smart man.
Such a cheater. You want a shot at beating Steve? You got it. 206-421-ROCK. We're playing Beat Miggs at 8:51 on The Rock.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. He's here right now and has agreed to answer more of your questions about bankruptcy. Here's another question from a listener. I'm getting my wages garnished. Can bankruptcy help with that?
Absolutely. One of the big reasons people file bankruptcy is because they have a judgment or a lawsuit against them, or their wages are getting garnished, and so they can't pay their other regular ongoing bills. People sometimes think that you can't file bankruptcy once they have a judgment against them or once a garnishment has started, and that's not true. Filing bankruptcy will immediately stop any garnishment that you have going, except for child support, and stop your creditors from continuing on with garnishments of your bank account, your wages, and in most cases will discharge that liability through the bankruptcy process. And we can file a bankruptcy case for you usually the day you come in.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at ChooseTheRightChapter.com. That's ChooseTheRightChapter.com. Thanks for listening.
Love sports? Love culture? Well, I've got a brand new podcast called Take Line from Crooked Media, hosted by me, Jason Concepcion, and 2-time WNBA champion Renee Montgomery. From the games to the players to the issues happening both on and off the court, we'll be tackling the important political and social issues happening in sports head on. New episodes drop every Tuesday, so follow and subscribe on radio.com, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.